email, and it would be the trigger for the topic today, because it's a powerful one, and he's not the only one that actually questioned acceptance, and I'd like to go into it fully. Hi Burt, when you say accept yourself as you are, I find it hard to accept. And then gets even more confusing when you say there's no one who accepts. Can you clarify? The word acceptance is not something that you say, well, I'm going to accept my faults and the way I am, and that's it. Because you see, if you say, I am a bad person, I'm going to accept it, then you aggravate the condition. We understand why, right? You are what you believe you are. And if you accept your weakness and see it as you, the weakness is you, well then you're not going to, encourage growth from that acceptance. Acceptance means this, that you see the inevitability of the situation because it has come about from a karmic principle. And we're going to see what that is in a moment. So actually, you accept the way you are because it's okay the way you are, because you're much more than that. And that is the whole point. If you think limited and you say, I'm going to accept my limitation and believe that this is who you are, then you keep encouraging that aspect. Remember the power of belief. But the acceptance means I can accept everything about me because I am so much more than that. You see? But let's understand what it is that is causing all the dysfunction, all this suffering, psychological pain and emotional suffering, but which are really one and the same thing. What causes all this? We'll make it very simple. It's called control. And when we begin to understand why we need this control, why it's so powerful and so unconscious, then we move deeply into the love nature. And hopefully that today this will be made much clearer. So, what is emotional suffering? It is control. Now, control starts from our childhood. Well, naturally, we're brought up in a certain amount of discipline through unawareness. And we're told what to do. But the first aspect of this is the fear of control. Now, the fear of control brings what is known as the victim mentality. The victim means that you believe everything. If a negative thought comes, to you it's reality. If somebody offends you, you believe it. Okay? You're a victim of what is happening to you in the world. So, and you become that victim. So this is fear of control. Fear of control also is this. You're so afraid of being controlled that if someone were to yell at you, you can suffer trauma. You can go into you become dysfunctional almost. You can go into a rage if you feel you're being controlled. So from the fear of control comes the need to be in control because you feel that you're going to lose control. Now, what is loss of control? I have seen so much loss of control as a hypnotherapist. Loss of control starts primarily as anxiety. On its higher aspect, fear of losing control is known as panic attack, nervous breakdown, going temporarily insane. Okay? So that's the fear of loss of control. So in order to deal with these two aspects, which is fear of being controlled and fear of losing control, we try to be in control. And because you try to be in control, you develop an addiction to control. And you find yourself controlling all the time without realizing you're doing it. You're doing it with your thoughts, you're doing it with your speech, you do it with your manner. You see, you don't even know you're doing it. And this starts to create problems because you don't even know you're doing it. Because there's always that fear. Fear of being controlled and fear of losing control. So you want to be in control all the time. You want to get your own way, you see? But the key question here, which is most important in this topic today, why do we need control? Why is it so important that it creates so much suffering? And it's prevalent. You see it everywhere. I've never seen a person that doesn't suffer unless they're spiritually awake. But why? Because the real control is love. Can you think of a power greater than love? There isn't any. So the real control is love. And you will find that all the time you want that love, but you do not know it consciously. From the moment we are born, we want love. In everything we do, we want love. We need love. So therefore, acceptance means this. I act the way I do because karmically I am acting and reacting from a karmic principle. You know what I'm karmic? Law of cause and effect. That if you're coming from control, you are creating a certain amount of dysfunction, right? But now, how does acceptance come in? To accept the fact that all you want is love. You see? So therefore, you are not the bad things you are doing and thinking. You see? You do not know that you are love. That's it. It's as simple as that. And because you don't know you are love, you're acting from wanting love, from needing love, from hungering for love, which comes into control. Okay, we understand the dynamic there. Okay, now, how does this come into being? Because the point today that I'd like to talk about really is effortlessness. The effortlessness of spirituality, the effortlessness of spirit, of you. This is who you are, totally effortless. And love is effortless. Because the only thing to screw up love is needing it. Do you understand? Which is, of course, codependent relationship there. So, but love you already are. All you have to do is take a deep breath and be. And you are love, period. Because you are that very awareness itself. You are that principle of truth. You don't gain anything, you don't overcome anything, you don't achieve anything, you don't control anything. You are that already. But because you don't know it, it comes out in that dysfunction, you see? And remember, dysfunction or the need for control is an addiction, you see, which is something very, very hard to face and look at, because it's something you don't want to give up. But you can start by accepting the fact that you are addicted, and all you ever want is love, and at the same time knowing that your nature is that love, you see? And that becomes total 100% acceptance. And it is through that acceptance that the real change starts. Now, the key question here is, how does change happen? It happens by us looking at what is at the moment.